And W. Yes. Yeah, I keep that list. You just gonna have to make sure. Hey, Michael Core, Michael Holdis, P Core looks actually pretty good. I'd keep all that. Docs looks good, and this Qualcomm has been sneaky, but it's like this is master stuck in range, right? So like if you see something like this, it's just a kind of like a trender grinder. Oh yeah, good morning, folks. What is up? No. Look at this. Man, guys, the market is cooking and booking. Good morning. We got lots to do here because, dude, we're opening up pretty hot into ATH over here today. We are at the top of the Bollinger Band, so, we may get a momentarily pull at some point, but, in the scheme of things, everything looks fantastic. Okay, NBIS. Oh, little Arm Nation. All right, everybody's in. Good. So, first of all, good morning, everybody. Hey, we got a breakout that's setting up here in the queues. We are a little bit long in the tooth, not long in the tooth, but, we kind of up on day 4 of the move and we're on a gap today. I would expect at some point probably to fill some of this gap to get a little bit of a shakeout. Uh, yeah, I would expect, I'd expect that we get a little bit of a shakeout in some of these bad boys, but not like anything, not anything too crazy, right? Dude. All right, and then we got the spy also doing the exact same thing. So we got a lot of good stuff happening here, but we're gonna need probably a little bit of a pull at the open. You can see like we're kind of just kind of nuzzling into the top of the range here, and we're a little bit stretched. Like it would have been better if we opened weak today. We don't always get what we want, but hey, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So let's get into the kind of watch list over here. So I think personally, right now we're in all systems is go. We do need some type of right, just intraday, and ideally a gap fill would really work. Like I think that would be a good spot for us. Like if we can just get a little bit of that kind of pull, I think we're going to be in for a much better day. But dude, everything looks fantastic so far. I don't. If you look at just even the general list of stocks, like they're all kind of moving and doing all sorts of good stuff. Let's take a look and see what kind of earnings plays, PR plays we got out here. And then, dude, let's do the Lord's work and get this thing going. So first of all, boom, 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 SLDB. This is a little biotech stock. These type of stocks, guys, have been in play. You can roll with them. All day in our chat room has been, crushing some puss on this stuff. But this is probably right up his alley. Not my particular flavor. I'm too old, too fat, too bald. But all of these look okay. Now let's dig in here. Hey, this word, it faded most of its gap. So this is the WeRide. They got investment from NVIDIA. They faded a good chunk of its gap, and here we are, like riding back up. I think this is actually right up our alley. This should have some momentum today. The range is going to be fantastic on this. As a day trader, like if you start to see a $30 stock rip $10 back and forth in the pre-market, and it's got liquidity, that's really right up our alley. Let's add that to the watch list for this morning. Hot damn, PGY junk, CMRX junk. Yo, Pure Cycle. This is not Soul Cycle necessarily, is it? This is something different. You got yourself a PR here. Let me see what the news is on this bad boy. Who's got this thing open? Let me see. PCTT. Wah, wah. Bum, 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 bum. 2 days period cycle, 10% owner, Siberia Capital, blah, blah, blah. You know, this is probably the right market to play these kind of names, like with ACHR going and some of these. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Hey, this SMCI is ripping tits here. So let's get into that in a second, too. Grab. Hey, so this company is the Uber of Asia, I believe, right? This is the Uber of Asia. If you like, dude, if you like something a little bit more spec, and I believe this is an Asianese company, boom, 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 boom. It's got a pretty big market cap, oddly enough. This is a bam. You know, you could probably roll with something like that if you want a little bit of a cheaper name. It's gonna be, by the way, it's gonna be a grinder. It's a thick stock. Like it's not gonna just like move like a low float stock where you're gonna get, you know, big candles out of everywhere. You're gonna have a little bit more. Yeah, you'll have like a little bit more something, something, you know, out of this. But I think you probably got a big spot here. Like if you look here, you're just clearing out all these ranges, and you know what the Uber of Asia looks like is I'm unsure. You know, is that like a fucking Tarun? Imagine they like Uber in India is like somebody picks you up on a rickshaw, fucking got ghee all over his hands. This is amazing. We're in it. Boom, 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 boom. Bachu. He's got like street food in one hand. Hey, this GRR, you know, you had this huge push a couple days ago, and you had an inside day on this yesterday, and now you're kind of tested back into the range. I wouldn't be opposed to this, right? I wouldn't be really opposed to this. Like, I think this is probably something right up the alley. Yeah, I think this is something right up the alley. Yeah, not bad. I mean, this is like, you know, it's going to have pretty good range on it. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit of a smaller company, but it's not cheap. Like, it'll have, you know, you'll be able to sashay around pretty good. I'd add that. We'll kind of come back to all these. Oh, this stock I have a love hate relationship with. I have a love hate relationship because I ripped this thing for like a few points and then it rugged me like a few days later. Bum, 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 bum. Hey, look, so this is SMCI. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth now. You're about 10 points away from the 9 EMA. I was hoping for a red to green on this. I do think this thing is in play. Like if you have any kind of, if you got a deep enough pullback on this, you know, if you could get a good snapback on this at some point, um, you're gonna get a good shot at this, you know, but you can't chase it up now. So usually how breakouts work, right? If you're on day three of a move, if you're on day three of a move and you gap up, you have to let a stock pull back deeper, right? So anytime like you're on day one, day two, you can do shallow pullbacks, you know, to your EMAs or stuff like that. If you're trading fibs, then you can do like basically like an intraday pullback. If you are on day three, day four, you essentially you need the bigger pullbacks to just let off some of the steam. So you kind of want to be just a little bit mindful of all that. Bum, bum, bum. Man, that's nice. I'd add that to the watch list, but you're gonna need a pull. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing get a little bit rugged at the open, you know, at some point, and then kind of make its way back. It tends to like to do that. Oh, check this out. This is probably a little bit more of a swing setup for any of you guys that are swing traders out there. I mean, that's like a damn good look to it. This SDGR has been basing out for really quite some time. It's got a pretty low float, 62 million. Zaman, what's up, Persian Pirate? Yeah, I would roll with it, but you just got to get a little bit better. This is probably more of a swing setup. Look at this. This is blue sky. Yeah, that looks like, if that breaks too, like this one, some of these, this is like got an awesome flag on it. This is probably got a good ripper on it. It does lack a little liquidity, so not like a huge priority, but you got a nice look on it. I think, even ASTS is right starting to really make its way back. What a beast. Yeah, we'll lower, we'll fix this list in a hot second. Blue sky. Oh, yeah, it looks pretty good. We'll come back to it in a second. Boom, 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 boom. Chunk. Hey, and if you notice, right, a lot of your stocks will probably be pushing a little bit of the top of the range. So today, even though the market looks great, you really do want to make sure, like, that you're not just chasing up. Like, I have some stocks from our watch list, but you're not chasing something up on like day 6 of the move, day 7 of the move. You do need deeper pullbacks when the market gets like a little bit extended, right? So because you're on day 4 of the move and you're kind of at the top of the Bollinger Band, if you kind of really push up at the morning, you're probably going to get some of this gap fill a little bit. That's just the nature of kind of the mechanics of, indexes. And so make sure like you're not just like balls deep on like some extended stock, on like a DKNG while the market itself gets like really stretched, because you'll need a little bit of a pull. Things look great, but you still want to make sure, right? Like, you want to make sure that you got all the good spots on it. Good. So it doesn't look like there's that much on the news cycle today. Let's take a look and see what else we got going on. Bum, 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 bum. U.S. Russian officials meet in UAE regarding Ukraine war. That'll be nice. Get that over with. Dun, 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 dun. STZ, he's blah, blah, blah. A Baidu reported earnings today. I think that'll be in play. Not much of a reaction yet to it. So that is, we're not getting really like a big do on it just yet. CAG is a turd. Hey, this one is probably, more of a short. It does actually a lot of liquidity too. And he's got a bear flag on the daily. And this CEG I'm interested in, right? So this, guys, has been the nuclear company, right? That's been like really been pushing around. Let's add this one to the watch list. Let's see how that one's opens. I think you may have something there. I don't know, up or down. It's just flat in the open. You got VMC. These are all turds. And guys, as the teeth of earnings season is kind of winds down, there's only really NVIDIA left. Things may slow down a little bit, on the gapper side, and you'll have to do deeper stocks into like other types of plays. Bond yields, junk, State Department met their Russian counterparts, summit between President Trump and Putin. Imagine what their conversations are like. Hey, Vlad. Remain seized while within the U.S. Junk. All right, so nothing that crazy out there so far this morning. All right. So let's roll into some stocks that I made for yesterday. I think for you kind of penny poppers out there, this bad boy's got a good look to it. This thing's got a good look to it over here. We got a lot of good stuff today. If you want to trade something a little bit cheaper, hey, I really like this APP. So this one had the gap up on earnings and it kind of faded off. Yesterday, just a monster cock run into the close. 20 points in the close. The zero DTEs on this went from like $1 to 20. And then now you're kind of opening up back at the breakout spot. Dude, that looks pretty good. Let's add that to the watch list. I think that's probably a 6 windows. I got Affirm here. Now, look, Affirm is on day 3 of a move, so you only want to do it on pullbacks. Like, you don't want to start chasing it up, but it's got a good look to it. Roku had earnings out on Friday. You got a pretty flat open on this one. I think that'll be in play. Donkey Kong, not that keen on yet. And then look, if we need a short, you got Lulu breaking some range down here. Something on a more specky side, this MNMD has got the really like a big, man, it's got a really big breakout on it setting up. There's been a lot of news about these mushroom companies or whatever doing this or that. Like, I think you could probably, look at all the volume accumulation on this. Like, I think we could take a breakout on this thing if it starts to really cook. So let's just, if you do like more of a weekly chart, it'll look a little bit more clear. You're starting to kind of, right, just really coalesce here. A little mushroom life. Hey, these banks, right? All these banks, you have to do the options on them, but because they trade too slow on an intraday basis. But these banks are all starting to rip here. You had a good breakout on a Citigroup. It actually did an ORB and followed through. So I added in a couple of these bad boys like AXP, which is like sitting right here on support. We could probably, if these banks start to break out, we could swing some calls on this. They'll frankly be pretty cheap. Like you can see here, like the 315s are going to be like, $1.70 or whatever. It's more a matter of the liquidity. They don't do as much liquidity as like, Goldman Sachs or Citigroup tends to do the most. So I'll keep an eye on those two. Nothing sexy, but probably a little bit more swing setup. SMCI, we talked about, we need a pullback on this one. And then, NBIS is a daily trader, but it went from lower Bollinger Band to the top of the Bollinger Band. Hopefully you made some money here on it, right? Because you got from lower Bollinger Band to the top. I mean, it's made a full circle. It might need a pull, like it's obviously in play. It might need a pull a little bit at some point, but it looks great. You just are going to have to probably hit that one on, pullbacks too. Good. Out of you large cap traders, right? Out of you large cap traders, probably, right? The group of stocks that you want to be looking into. Snow. Hi.
Mom's coffee.
Hi.
Special coffee.
Hey, Batu. Dee. We'll need a little pull on this bad boy. Heck yeah. All right, so I think on the large cap side, Snow's got a good look to it. We want to hit this bad boy on dips. It's got an upgrade on it. Dude, when they get these upgrades, they tend to kind of, it might push this thing through where it needs to go. So this is top of the list for pullbacks. I like this bad boy. And then, boom, MU. I think that's probably, a secondary. So both of those, like if you're trading large cap names, especially if you're trading options, both of those, I'd take both of those on a pullback any day. then, of course, Palantir is just a daily trader. But to me, this is just grinding. So when you have a stock like this, like once again, this is like a day 4, day 5 of the move. You really do need deeper pullbacks. Like, when you want to get them like snapping down intraday. Let's take a look at the Chinas here, Zaman, my Persian prince. Yeah, I think probably you're gearing closer to the fade spot on this. Obviously, any dips on this, it could take months to, go sideways now. Usually once you make this kind of move, like you really need a longer, right, basing period. But you got a big breakout here. But yeah, you're on, day 8 of the move. PDD looks decent. Yeah, some of these are a little bit less extended. Like watch the Billy if you want to kind of buy some Chinas. You could go Billy. JD's opening fairly weak. Boom, 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 boom. You get JD open fairly weak. And yeah, Baidu's opening down on, earnings. So we'll see kind of what that one does. I'm not sure on the Baidu for the most part. It had earnings out, so it can kind of go either way. Yeah, we'll see. Meta, I'm not sure. So the Meta is, look, this is the most I've ever seen a stock go up days in a row. I've never seen a stock go up this many days in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. What was going on in this guy's earnings, right? And Baba does have EPS tomorrow. Oh, no, 2 days from now. So you will get, probably some fluctuation over there. My guess is if it runs tomorrow, then it fades on the day of the EPS, and then, it probably rebounds. They probably buy back the dip. That's usually the play on that. All right. What else? What are we missing? Yeah, let me take a look at. I do like ACHR. This is probably a little bit more of a swing setup. It's not that good of a day trader, but it does do good for a swing. The calls on this were cheap on Friday. For I think this week's expiration, the 1050s were like 50 cents or whatever. So those will probably open up pretty good. Bum, 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 bum. Damn, that looks pretty good. Joby's got a little bit of catch up. It's not as clean. And then, all these nukes are kind of like, they've grinded back. So I'd watch, like you see this a lot on the nukes, guys, where they grind back down for a few days and then they just push it through. So like if you see this SMAR or if you see this SMAR, like it's just kind of, right, just ranging into it. Same thing with this NNE. Like I see this all the time where like they kind of grind their way down and then boom, they get like one big mega penis candle that just kind of rips through. So keep an eye on all of these. Oklo itself is actually hanging out okay. And then, CEG had earnings. So that's the tell, right? If you got this bad boy and, it starts to rip through, then you can load into, SMAR or Oklo and do it. Like kind of like, do you remember LEU? So LEU, the day of its earnings, all the nuclear stocks were dead. And then this thing started ripping tits. And on the day of the earnings right here, it started ripping that first candle. And then all of the sudden, they started to really rip through. So what I want to do is, similar type of setup. Let's watch this CEG. If it gets some action in it, then all of the sudden, right, what we want to be doing, we want to come in and we could probably hit, Oklo, and then we'll hit the smart. We just do the hot potato like we always do. Snow app. All right, let's do it. We got ourselves a little hootenanny today, baby. Let's rage. Damn. All right. Let's keep an eye on this bad boy. I think that'll be a big tell for us on the spec side of what we got to do. Zaman, Hood looks okay, brother. I think you can play that one, and I got a GRR on my watch list too. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. All right, let's do it, people. Let's do it right. Do it good. Do it right. Do it good. Do it the way you like it should. My neck, my back,